Okay, so before starting your elements of our accordion book, you're going to have to measure out and fold the paper. So it should be that really long piece of paper that you got in your packet. So just as a reminder, I have the ruler here. Okay, we're going to do 2.5 inches. So we're going to jump to 1, to 2, and then to that mark in between the 2 and the 3, that's 2.5. Okay, so on your ruler, you're going to find 2.5. You're going to line up the edge of the paper with that first tick mark, and then make a mark at 2.5. Then you're going to shift so that the mark that you just made lines up with the first tick mark on the ruler. Okay, and we're going to keep on doing that, marking 2.5 inches all the way down the paper. So lining it up again, marking 2.5, and then eventually we will end up with 7 sections. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this all the way until the end. Okay, now I have my 7 different sections. Make sure that you have 7. You count the spaces, not the tick marks. Okay, and now we're going to fold. So you're folding along these lines. All right, so make sure when you fold it that the paper is going to be nice and straight so the edge is lined up with the rest of the long piece of paper. You'll see in a minute. See that straight line? Okay, it's not all wonky. So that fold is on that first tick mark that we made. Okay, now we're going to fold the opposite way on the second tick mark. Okay, so we can see that it's folding the opposite way. Basically, all you're doing is making folds that are the same size, like a little zigzag. Okay, so I did it that way, turning it over, going to fold it again to be the same size so that the crease is on that mark that I made. Okay, and if you measured right, then everything should line up at 2.5. So again, just like we did the tick marks, I keep on going back and forth, folding all the way across. Okay, and your paper might not be exactly the right size, so your last section might be a little bit longer or shorter, and that's totally fine. It does not really matter in the end as long as you have 7 even-ish sections. Okay, so after I unravel it, it should look like a little zigzag. Okay, now if you folded something the wrong way, you can always fold it back. All right. So the last thing that I'm going to do is just label the back of each of the sections that I've folded with one of the elements of art. It really does not matter what order you go in, as long as you have all 7 on there. And this will be the back of the paper that I'm working on. Okay. So after I have each of those, then I can flip it over and start working on the actual project, which in the second video that's attached here, you'll be able to see the example of each. Okay, this next part of the video, I'm going to show you how to trace or draw your image on to your different sections. So the first option is you can freehand draw something. I would keep it a simple shape or an icon or something like that. So I drew a heart, and then you would just draw one of those on each of the different sections of your paper. That's the first option. You can make it as simple or complicated as you desire. As long as the shape is the same, it's totally fine. Okay, so the second option is to print out a silhouette of something and trace it on. Okay, so I did make a video on how to trace things, so you can watch that as well, but I'm going to do a quick demo here. So I'm taking a drawing pencil, and my printed image that I cut out, I'm going to draw all over the back of the image. You want to use the side of your pencil and not the top of your pencil. That way you can just really quickly color some graphite all over the back of that image. You do not have to cover the entire piece of paper as long as you cover all the lines of the image. Okay. The next thing that you have to do is flip it over, and I like to use a colored pencil to trace it onto the paper. That way I know that I can see the lines that I've traced. Alright, so I'm just going around and roughly tracing over all the lines of this image. And since I drew with graphite on the back, it's going to press over all those lines, and ta-da, we have a perfect little bird. Okay, so I can keep reusing that over and over again and do that in each of my different sections. So again, I'm just tracing over every single line, pressing hard enough for the graphite to push through onto my actual paper, and there we go. Okay. The other option that you can do is you can put the picture underneath the paper, and if you hold it up to a window, you can see the lines a lot better. So a window or even a computer screen that would shine a light through would work as well. Now you're ready to watch the next video on how to actually do the project and decorate it.